Hey everybody, welcome back to the van. Well, has it been a long time since I've been able to say that? And I am back in the van. It's actually nice and warm in here, and I am so happy. So today I want to talk a little bit about tires. Now, I have a video that I did a little while ago about tires, but I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of comments, a lot of people who have been questioning different people online that have been promoting different brands and different types and so on and so forth. So today I want to talk about different tires and in different conditions. And do you actually need to go out and get those massive big tires? Do you need to get off-road tires and so on and so forth? Now, around here in Canada, we've just got through an insanely cold spell here in Western Canada. Vancouver and Victoria and the island, areas that are usually pretty darn warm and usually don't get much snow, have been getting a ton of snow and been getting dumped on a regular basis. And a lot of the people who I've seen online that are in the western U.S., the western part of Canada, that have gone out and bought different tires are now finding out just how their tires work. And they don't work very good in some situations. So let's talk about the different tires. Now, I got to admit, I went out and bought KO2s for my van when I got the van because the tires that came with it were horrible. I don't mean that they were bad. I don't mean that they were a little bit slippery in the snow. I mean they were horrible. So I went out and picked up a set of KO2s and put on my van, and I've been pretty happy with them. They work pretty darn good. But I see a lot of people who go out and put KO2s on right away and say, oh, they're great for the mud. Oh, they're great for off-road. You can air them down. You can do this. You can do that. And they're going to work perfectly for you. Well, honestly, KO2s, while they are a good off-road tire, they're good on gravel roads. They're good on some mud and that type of thing. As long as it's not extreme. They're not the best in snow and on ice. They're not a winter tire. They do have the rating of a winter tire, so they do have the snowflake on them. So in places like BC, here in Canada, you can use them all year round, and you can drive them where it says winter tires only. But they're limited for what they are. Now, I also have a Subaru, and before the Subaru, I had a Dodge Journey, and I had winter tires for both of those vehicles. And I can tell you that the difference between an off-road tire and a winter tire, when it is 20 below and 30 below, and when you're going through snow and you're dealing with ice, it can be a huge difference. Just the other night, I've been doing some work on the van, and I wanted to take it out because I'm putting new headlights on it to see how the headlights would work. Came back, backed up into the driveway, and I got stuck getting into my driveway with my van and with the KO2s. And why did I get stuck? Well, because it had been freezing cold here, down into the minus 30s and 40s Celsius, which I think at 40 it becomes 40 Fahrenheit too. So it's darn right cold, or it was. And then it started to melt, and it got up to 14 degrees, 10 degrees for several days in a row. The sun came out, things started to melt like crazy, and the roads became a sheet of ice. And when I tried to get into my driveway with the little bump that was there, I stopped at just the wrong second, and my van just sat there spinning. There was nothing I could do with it. And on conditions like that, with the ice and with the water, winter tires, a true winter tire, is far superior to any off-road tire. Believe me when I say it. It is beyond superior when you get the true winter tires and you're comparing them to an off-road tire. So, like I say, I have KO2s. I love my KO2s for what they are, but they're not a true off-road tire. So if you're going to be dealing with your van, a true winter tire. So if you're going to be dealing with your van in winter conditions quite a bit, like 6 months of the year going to a ski hill, I would strongly suggest that you invest in a really good set of winter tires. Now, winter tires don't have to be with the studs on them anymore. In fact, when I did some research for my Subaru for the winter tires, the one guy actually does not recommend studs anymore. He says because winter tires have come so far that you really don't need the studs anymore, and you'll have the same performance, if not even better performance. And plus, without the studs, you can use them in a lot of different conditions. Here in southern Alberta, one of our big issues is we'll have a spell of snow and ice and cold temperatures, and then all of a sudden that stops and it dries up and it gets really warm. Well, studded tires on hot pavement, on bare pavement, just are not good, and they're even not allowed in some areas. So studs have their advantages, or they used to have their advantages, but good snow tires have a lot of advantages over just an off-road tire. I'm looking at replacing my KO2s. I've got a couple brands I've been looking at. I really don't know which one is better. I've done so much research on it, and you get 50 reviews on one that says they're amazing, and then you get 15 reviews that say they're horrible. On the next one, you get 150 reviews that say they're absolutely beautiful, amazing, and you get 120 reviews that say they're horrible. So I've been doing a lot of research for myself to figure out what I want. And I think that what I'm going to end up doing is the way that I drive and when I use my van and everything, I think I may go with a full winter tire and run it year round, knowing that I'm probably going to end up replacing it more often. But at the same time, at least I'll have a good tire on it when the snow and the ice hits. And I do use my vehicle more in the fall, in the spring, and probably a little bit more in the winter than I do actually in the summer. So I think a good snow and ice tire would be a benefit to me. Now, I hear a lot of people also, and see a lot of people, and read about a lot of people who have gone out and put bigger tires on their vehicle because bigger tires make their vehicle look meaner. Seriously, people, unless you're going to be off-road constantly, unless you're going to be doing stupid stuff with your vehicle on a regular basis and not just once in a while, just go with the regular tire size that came with your van. Everything will work better. Your speedometer will be accurate. Everything else will work as it's supposed to. You won't have to raise the van. You won't have to do a bunch of stuff to it. And away you go from there. People who do off-road equip their vehicles, their vans, their ambulances, their buses, their RVs, generally find out that even after they spend tens of thousands of dollars lifting them, putting in new airbags and springs and everything else, they still don't perform like an off-road vehicle. And that's because they're not an off-road vehicle. They're a van, they're a bus, they're an RV, they're an ambulance, they're whatever they are. And they're heavy, they're hard to maneuver, and you're just not going to be out rock crawling like you're going to in a Jeep or something else that's specialized for that. So think before you spend all that money, and I think you'll be a lot happier than going out and wasting a ton of money on a lift, on bigger rims, bigger tires, bigger this, bigger that, extending brake lines, extending this and that and the other thing, and putting in heavier this and heavier that when you're not actually going to ever use it. Now, if you're looking for an expedition vehicle, this may be counterintuitive, but if you have a van, if you have a bus, if you have an ambulance, tow a small off-road vehicle. Park your vehicle someplace and tow something that's off-road capable, because then you can go, you can beat it up, you can use it for its way it's supposed to be, and you're not destroying your home or your weekend getaway place. It makes a lot more sense doing that than it does to take a $200,000 vehicle that's all been modified and everything and it's got a beautiful house in it and everything, and start trying to take it over cliffs and over hills and through mud and lakes and everything else. So a few things to think about. It's so nice to be back in the van. I sure missed it. I'll be talking to you in another video next week. So have a great weekend and a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.